Welcome to Lawyer Boss Life.
Welcome to Lawyer Boss Life, the podcast where law firm owners learn to build profitable businesses and lead lives they love. I'm Alay, law firm growth expert and founder of Law Firm Success Group. I've helped hundreds of attorneys scale their firms, gain freedom, and take back their time. And today we're going to be talking about ways to find money in your law firm. And no, I am not talking about going after your law firm's sofa and looking under the seat cushions. We're going to dig into some experiences that I've run into recently in working with clients that I thought would be a really interesting set of ideas to bring forth to the audience about ways to just find more money in the practice of law in your firm. So we're going to go through a few of those things right now. These are all based on experiences that we've had with clients, I would say, over the past 4 to 6 weeks. So they're going to be all over the place. They're all going to be different, but they're all things that you can consider when you're thinking about how to make more money in your firm. And, who doesn't like to do that? So the first thing we're going to do is one that is really, really straightforward, but it's incredibly, incredibly important. And it's this: track your time and make sure all your attorneys and staff also track their time and bill for everything they should be billing. You've seen this talked about time after time after time. One of the biggest reasons law firms fail to hit their cash potential, their income potential, is they're not billing for all their time. So for those of you that are hourly billers, make sure your team is billing contemporaneously. And if they're not, make sure that they're doing it as quickly as possible. They need to have a system to be capturing every email, every voicemail, every phone call, every meeting. And yes, that includes if they're in the car. These days, with the apps that are available, your practice management software should have an app where you can quickly just log your time as you go. It's super, super easy. And by using those apps and using those timers, you can really, really maximize all of that billed time that should be going out to your clients. So if there's one big thing, it's capturing all your billable time. And for those of you that don't practice by the hour, if you have a contingency practice or a flat fee practice, you are not off the hook, because there is a important metric that every law firm owner who does flat fee and who does contingency needs to know. And it's this: what is your cost per case? You charge a certain amount for the case, or you have a certain amount that you get as an award. Your costs are an important part of figuring out how much money you've made on that case. In that sense, you're like most other businesses out there. They sell their services for a price, then they have their costs, and what's left over is their profit. And so by understanding what your cost per case is, you can say, okay, what's it going to take for us to reduce our cost per case by 10%? Because if you figure that out, now you have just given yourself a 10% pay raise in your pocket as profit. So understanding your cost per case is absolutely critical if you have a flat fee practice or if you have a contingency based practice. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is if your team tracks all of their time. So tracking and billing your time is the big lever that can really earn a lot of money for you in your firm. In fact, a new client just told me this today. We were meeting, and first session, this was an issue. We got together today and she goes, wow, you've just totally paid for yourself. So my first thought was I need to raise my prices. But my second thought was that is really, really cool that in one session, a client can come back and say, you've paid for your fees, you're good to go. That just felt really, really good. So that is super, super important. The next one is a little bit more complicated. And it's this: we were working with a client and she's doing pretty well on the revenue side, but she kept saying, like, I can't afford to invest in my firm. I can't afford to hire people. I'm not making any money. And I was kind of scratching my head going, well, based on the revenue you're bringing in, you should be doing great. This shouldn't be an issue. What's going on? So we dug into it. And it turned out that she had a lot of credit card debt that she had incurred over the past several years. And the interest payments on that credit card debt were just crushing the profitability in her law firm. This is a solo firm, but she wanted to hire some staff and really grow. But in order to do that, she had to have the cash to invest in that growth. She couldn't do it with all or a lot of the profits going to pay down this credit card or pay off this credit card. And so what she decided to do, and we discussed it and came up with a plan to do this, is she decided to do what they call a revolving line of credit on her firm plus a business loan. So she went to the bank and asked for money. And there's two kinds of money. There's the business loan, which is exactly what it sounds like. And then there is a revolving line of credit. So the revolving line of credit, it's kind of like someone gives you a well, if you have a home equity line of credit, it's the same thing. You have a certain amount of money that you can kind of draw on, and it's like a credit limit on your credit card. But instead of credit card interest, the interest rate's a lot less. Um, and so what she was able to do is take all that credit card debt, consolidate that with the business loan. And then she still had a line of credit that was untouched, that was there for rainy days. Like things aren't going well, or you have a big expense, or you need to make a really, really important investment. You have your line of credit. It's also great as a bridge. Like if you, for some reason, you've grown so much and you're having a bad collections month, which you should never have, but sometimes it happens, and you need funds to bridge yourself for like a week, then you can use the line of credit to do that. So she had that in place. And then at the same time, she got the business loan, which consolidated all of her credit card debt, reduced her interest payments to a fraction of what they were because now she's paying off a loan instead of credit card interest. Much, much better. And when I walked into my coaching session with her, she was just delighted. She didn't tell me she did any of this because she'd been putting it off for like 2 months. So about halfway through our sessions, she said, "Alay, I got to tell you, I have a business loan, I have a line of credit, and now I have so much less stress on my plate. Like I sleep better at night, I feel better about the firm. I'm able to make targeted investments where I need to. Like I need to update my website, and now I have the funds to do it." So a lot of the initiatives we talked about that were focused on growth, now she had the money to do it, and this was all money that was really recovered. She's not dipping into the line of credit to make these investments. This is all money that she's going to get now every month because she's paying way less in interest payments. That's it. And so she's using that difference. That is profit to her. She's taking some of that. She's going to buy a new car. She might have bought it already. I don't know. And then she's going to take the rest of it and invest it back in her firm. That's the power of looking at how your firm is structured, where your costs are coming from, and if there's something on there like a big loan, like a credit card debt, something like that. By adding a line of credit, by consolidating your debt to lower interest, you can free up a lot of cash flow in your firm, increase the profitability, make yourself so much happier because now you're not stressed about all the debt. Good news, that's the most complicated thing we're going to talk about today. Even better news, I only have one more thing to talk about today in terms of finding money in your firm. I'll give you a bonus too. So, two more things to talk about. Number three is your rates. Folks, you got to raise your rates every year. Sometimes you have to raise your rates more than once a year. And here's the reality, most of us really do underprice ourselves, right? I've been guilty of it. I'm probably still guilty of it. So are many of you that are listening. And the way to address that is really to think about what the going rate is in the market for an attorney of your services and your caliber and your experience. If you don't have that detail and you can't get the intel, no problem. Think about how much capacity you have in your practice. You're full with clients. You really can't take on many more clients. It's a perfect time to raise your rates because you don't want any more clients. Like you're already full. So raise your rate now. That way, if you do get a new client, at least they're going to be paying you more money for it. And by raising your rate, you might screen out some of the other clients who are really, really price sensitive. And we know price sensitive clients can be some of the most challenging clients you have in your practice. So raise your rate. You're going to get a higher quality client. You're going to feel better about signing new clients. And it should actually reduce the rate at which you add new clients. So it's a great tactic if you're at capacity. If you're not at capacity, maybe you don't want to raise your rate, but you should do it every single year. And here's why. Your costs are going to go up every year. So, like it or not, you have to raise your rates to keep up. If you don't do that, you're going to be making less and less and less money. And it won't become obvious maybe in the first year or even the second. But as you get into your fourth year, your fifth year, you're really going to see it in your pocketbook. And then you're talking about a huge rate increase to catch up to the market. So rather than doing it all at once and putting it off, just be really clear. Some people even put it in their fee agreement, right? If it's a multi-year deal. So just make it a pick a time of year, January 1st or something like that. Here's when we do rate increases. We're typically going to raise a little bit. And that way, even if you do have capacity in your firm, you are able to raise those rates. It's just part of what you do. And that's going to keep that profit in your firm and keep that cash flowing into your pocket. So those are the three things you can do. And here is the bonus. The bonus is manage your accounts receivables. Accounts receivables are the bills that your clients haven't paid yet, and they just sit out there and they need to be collected upon. And folks, I have seen hundreds of thousands of dollars that were owed to firms that were not collected. And the reason is really simple. No one followed up with the clients. That's it. The attorneys were too busy doing work. They didn't have anyone else to follow up. Clients didn't pay for the work and no one said anything about it. And it's costing the firm hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we've seen this play out over and over and over again. If that happens to be you, don't feel bad, because it's not really your fault. This whole concept of people not paying what they owe and then asking them to pay your bill is not something any of us really enjoy. And it's much, much easier to just focus on the work that's currently in front of you. It happens to a lot of people. Don't feel bad about it, but take action because this is money in your pocket. This is money you are owed. And it can be super, super simple. You can delegate this to your paralegal or an assistant. You can even hire a virtual assistant to do this for you. Is give them the list of people that owe you money and have them start making calls on behalf of your firm, not collections calls. We're not talking about collections. We're talking about polite calls saying, oh, Mr. and Ms. So-and-so, I'm from such and such law firm, and I'm just letting you know you have an outstanding bill in the amount of whatever it happens to be, and just wanted to follow up and find out when you might be able to pay that bill, right? Start a conversation. Oftentimes, they find out that clients have forgotten about it or never got the bill, and the money flows in right away. Other times, clients want to be on payment plans, and then they accommodate that. Sometimes you are going to have some clients that will not want to pay your bill for whatever reason. Either they're not able to or they're not willing to. And then you have a decision, right? You can take them to small claims court. You can write it off, whatever you want to do. But you will be surprised if you have an accounts receivables issue, how much money is coming in the first 2 months of putting an effort in collections. If you're not sure if you have an accounts receivables issue or not, talk to your bookkeeper, talk to your accountant, have them run a report for you called accounts receivables aging, and that will show you the money that's owed to you along with how long it's been owed to you. So sometimes it's been over 6 months even, you never know. So take a look at that. There are lots of ways that you can free up cash in your business, but those items that I've just given you are some of the top 4 that we have seen our clients do in the last 6 weeks. So I wanted to share that with you. I hope it's helpful to you. If you like this video, go and click the like button, click subscribe, get a lot more content, and visit us at lawfirmsuccessgroup.com. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.